Dear Starseed, something has already changed in you, and part of you knows it, not as a thought, not as a wish, but as a quiet certainty you've been carrying for days now, maybe longer. Something settled, something clicked into place. I am Azuron, a representative of the High Council of Sirius, and what you just felt was not your imagination. It was a signal, one the Council has been waiting on. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly what shifted in you, why your timeline is now moving differently, and what has become available to you from this moment forward. There are moments in a starseed's journey that have nothing to do with the calendar and everything to do with alignment. A shift in your awareness, a choice you made, perhaps quietly, perhaps without fully understanding its weight. A stabilization inside you that finally held steady long enough for the current to change. When those things converge, the system responds. Not eventually, immediately. That is what happened. You crossed a threshold, not by force, not by striving, but by becoming something you weren't quite able to be before. And the Arcturian Council confirmed what the waters of Sirius already carried to us. This was the signal required to open the next phase of your journey. The heaviness you may have felt in recent weeks was not stagnation. It was pressure before breakthrough, like water held behind stone, building quietly until the moment the path finally opened. That moment is now. You did not find this transmission by searching. Your Sirian codes recognized a familiar signal and brought you here, because you are ready to hear what has been held in waiting for you. Stay with me until the end. What follows is not just information. It is a direct transmission from the waters of Sirius, carried across the stars for this exact point in your journey. And I'm grateful you're here with me now. Something has shifted in you, not the loud kind of change that announces itself with fireworks and declarations, with fanfare and public decrees. This one is infinitely quieter, a whisper heard only by the inner ear. It's almost easy to miss, a subtle tremor beneath the surface of your conscious awareness. Perhaps it's a softness blossoming in the chest, where a shield once stood firm. A steadier breath drawn from a deeper well, expanding your lungs with more ease. A strange, inexplicable calm, settling into the spaces where anxiety once coiled and throbbed, a quiet peace where chaos used to reign. There's a clear, simple resolve that doesn't need to argue, doesn't need to prove, doesn't need to convince anyone of its validity. It simply is. And part of you, conditioned by a world that demands visible proof and dramatic transformations, wonders if you merely imagined it, if it's just a fleeting moment of respite that will vanish with the morning light. You didn't imagine it, dear one. This is not a trick of the mind or a momentary illusion. What you're feeling is nothing less than the moment the inner tide turns, a profound and sacred pivot point within your very being. It is the precise juncture where your soul, weary of compromise and the constant struggle to conform, stops negotiating with the old world, with its limiting beliefs, its suffocating expectations, and its exhausting demands. It is the moment your deepest essence begins moving, naturally and gracefully, back into alignment with what it has always been, what it was divinely designed to be from the very genesis of its existence. You may still find yourself amidst a labyrinth of unanswered questions, threads of your life still loose and unresolved. Your outer life may still bear the marks of unfinished business, appearing chaotic or incomplete to the casual observer, or even to yourself on a less perceptive day. But inside you, something ancient, something primordial, has started to sit upright again, like a magnificent temple column hewn from celestial stone, returning to its rightful perfect angle after eons of subtle strain, pressure, and tilting from the winds of external force. Your inner architecture, the very blueprint of your divine self, is remembering its original design, its sacred geometry, its inherent balance. And that remembering, this profound recalibration, is not dramatic in the way a storm breaks or a volcano erupts. It is true. Its truth is not in its volume, but in its resonance, its quiet, unshakable certainty. For so long, you were indoctrinated, through societal conditioning, educational systems, and even well-meaning loved ones, that progress has to look like a perpetual state of pushing, of striving against formidable odds. You were taught that growth must be proved through relentless struggle, through visible effort and measurable output. The prevailing narrative whispered, and often shouted, that if you are not constantly striving, if you are not perpetually in motion, grappling with challenges and asserting your will, then you are not evolving, you are not worthy, you are simply stagnant. But your recent calm, this newfound stillness you sense within, is not a manifestation of laziness. It is not a cowardly avoidance of responsibility. It is certainly not a pause because you've given up on your path or your potential. On the contrary, it is the waters within you clearing, a deep and necessary purification. Imagine a vast, turbulent ocean churned by endless storms and currents, its depths obscured by sediment and debris. But then a profound stillness descends, the winds abate, the currents soften, and the surface becomes like glass. When the ocean settles, when the inner turbulence subsides, you can finally see what has always been there, perfectly formed and inherently beautiful beneath the surface. When your precious energy stops scattering itself wildly into 100 different, unproductive directions, pursuing external validation or trying to fit into molds that were never meant for you, your inner knowing gathers into one clean, powerful current. And suddenly, without needing to force it, without needing to intellectualize or strategize, you begin making choices that organically match you, that resonate with your deepest truth, that flow from an authentic wellspring within. That, dear one, is the turning point. It is the moment your compass needle clicks back to true north, guided by an unseen force. Many starseeds, with their vast and ancient wisdom, their cosmic heritage, and their deep-seated soul missions, often feel profoundly lost. This isn't because they lack purpose, quite the opposite. It's because they carry too much purpose, too vast a blueprint, too soon for a world that operates on a much more limited scale. They feel the expansive, multidimensional vastness of their own intricate blueprint, the intricate tapestry of their cosmic origins and future potentials, and the finite, linear human mind, in its earnest attempt to make sense of the incomprehensible, tries to compress it into neat deadlines, into rigid identities, into predictable, manageable plans. It tries to squeeze the ocean into a teacup. That is when the ache begins. The persistent, gnawing feeling of being profoundly out of place, of existing out of time, of being out of rhythm with the dominant cadence and collective consciousness of the world around you. This ache manifests as a deep longing, a homesickness for a place you can't quite name, a profound sense of misalignment with the prevailing current. But the ache, that exquisite sensitivity and discomfort, was never proof that you were failing. It was never a sign of your inadequacy or your brokenness. Instead, it was undeniable proof that your soul was still listening, still awake, still attuned to its higher calling, still rebelling against the attempt to diminish its truth. It was the soul's persistent song, a divine alarm bell ringing, refusing to be silenced. The strange, pervasive exhaustion you've known, the kind that sleep cannot fully alleviate, the profound sensitivity to external stimuli, the overwhelming desire and often necessity to retreat from incessant noise, from overwhelming crowds, from energetically draining conversations. None of that, absolutely none of it, was weakness. It was not a flaw in your being, nor a sign of fragility. That, beloved soul, was recalibration. It was your magnificent, complex system adjusting, fine-tuning itself to a higher frequency. Think of a deep-sea diver ascending slowly from the crushing pressures and profound darkness of the ocean's abyssal depths. Their system cannot simply rocket to the surface. It must adjust gradually, carefully, to a new, lighter pressure, to a new, brilliant light. Any sudden movement could prove catastrophic. In the same way, your energetic system, your nervous system, your emotional body, and your very DNA have been painstakingly adjusting to a new vibrational pressure, a new, clearer light of truth. And now, without any need to explain it to others, without the burden of intellectual justification, you are arriving at a clearer, more defined internal shoreline, a sacred boundary where your true self can stand firm and radiant. This then is what alignment often looks like at first, particularly for souls who have known deep spiritual slumber and subsequent awakening. Not a burst of exhilarating excitement that leaves you breathless. Not a sudden, absolute certainty about every detail of your future path, as if a crystal ball has suddenly materialized. No, it is far more subtle, far more foundational. It is just an unshakable sense, a quiet knowing deep in your bones that you will not, under any circumstances, abandon yourself again. You will not betray your truth for comfort, compromise your integrity for acceptance, or dim your light for the sake of fitting in. It is subtle, this internal vow, this sacred promise, but it is everything. It is the same quiet, profound wisdom that the ancient builders by the majestic Nile, those master architects of sacred geometry, encoded into stone, into the very foundations of pyramids, the alignments of temples, the proportions of their structures. They understood that geometry itself held frequency, that proportion mirrored the vast, intricate cosmos, that harmony was a tangible force. They knew, implicitly and spiritually, that when a structure is true, when it is aligned with universal principles, it does not need to shout for attention. It does not need to boast of its strength. It simply stands, timeless and enduring. It holds its space with quiet dignity. It resonates with an inherent power that requires no external validation. That, precisely, is what is happening inside you at this very moment. Your inner temple is being restored to its pristine, original blueprint, the blueprint of your soul. Your divine mission, your highest potential, is not coming to you as a tedious list of tasks to be checked off, or a rigid schedule to adhere to, or a detailed business plan to execute. It is returning to you, unfolding from within as a state of being. It is manifesting as a profound steadiness, an unwavering inner anchor in the midst of worldly chaos. It is a gentle but firm refusal to perform, to put on a mask, to play roles that no longer serve your authentic expression. It is a quiet, gentle devotion to what is real, to what is true, to what resonates with the core of your being. And yes, this experience, this subtle yet seismic shift, may initially be confusing, even disorienting, because the world, with its relentless focus on external metrics and tangible outcomes, has diligently trained you to look for external proof, for visible, undeniable evidence. So it is entirely natural and perfectly understandable that you might be asking yourself in moments of doubt or introspection, if this inner shift is truly real, if something so profound is truly happening within me, then why doesn't my outer life look completely different yet? Why do I still grapple with fears, those old familiar anxieties that cling to the edges of my awareness? Why do I still have days, even weeks, where I doubt the entire process, where the old patterns of insecurity try to reassert themselves? These questions are not signs of weakness. They are simply the mind attempting to reconcile a deep inner truth with a seemingly unchanged outer reality. But consider the mighty ocean tide, a force of immense, inexorable power. The tide does not change the entire coastline in a single dramatic, instantaneous moment. No, first it turns, a subtle, almost imperceptible shift in its underlying current, deep beneath the surface. Then with that internal reorientation, it begins to move, slowly and purposefully, gathering momentum, yet still appearing calm from the shore. And then, over vast stretches of time, with consistent, gentle persistence, it reshapes everything it touches. The curve of the sand, the erosion of cliffs, the very contours of the land. It carves out new coves, builds new beaches, and sculpts the earth with patient power. And you, dear one, are in the magnificent sacred turning. You are in that initial, foundational phase where the direction of your internal current has irrevocably shifted. Trust this process. Trust the unseen work unfolding within you. Some healing doesn't come through words, it comes through water. Water, the universal solvent, the carrier of memory, the source of life, has an innate ability to cleanse and recalibrate on profound levels. If something stirred within you just now, a deep resonance, a subtle recognition, a sense of awakened memory, you may be ready to receive the Sirian water codes. This powerful guide carries sacred techniques channeled directly from the crystalline waters of Sirius, a star system profoundly connected to Earth's spiritual evolution and humanity's awakening. These practices include deeply clearing baths, potent breathing practices, exquisite sound activations, and powerful protection rituals, all designed specifically for starseeds who have always felt an inexplicable, undeniable call by the ocean, by the primordial waters of life itself. These codes are a transmission, a key to unlock deeper layers of your cellular memory and energetic field. The link to access this transformative guide is in the first pinned comment below. But please note, this opportunity is only available for a limited time. Embrace the flow. Now, let this understanding be simple. Let this be human. Let this be kind to yourself. There are distinct phases to what you're moving through, each one a profound form of remembrance, a shedding of amnesia, a return to your inherent wisdom. First, there is the fog. Things may have felt extraordinarily unclear lately, as if you've been trying to see through deep, murky water, or navigating a dense mist where familiar landmarks are obscured. This fog is not, I repeat, not a sign that something is wrong with you, or that you've lost your way, or that you're failing to progress. Rather, it's what happens naturally when old patterns, old beliefs, old energetic structures, and old ways of being begin to dissolve. The waters of your subconscious have to get murky, disturbed by the stirring of ancient sediments before they can truly clear and reveal the pristine depths beneath. You are not lost in this fog. You are simply in transition, a liminal space between what was and what is becoming. And it takes immense courage, a quiet, unwavering strength to be in transition without frantically demanding instant clarity, without insisting on immediate certainty, without needing to know every step before you take it. Then comes the quiet recognition. This phase isn't heralded by a dramatic lightning bolt striking from the heavens, nor by a public announcement declaring your newfound enlightenment. It's far more intimate, far more personal. It's just a private internal nod, a deep, knowing resonance within your soul. It's a subtle shift that tells you with profound certainty that you can no longer go back to the old version of you, even if you tried with all your might. The old self simply no longer fits. It feels constricting, inauthentic, like a garment you've long outgrown. Your soul carries a divine blueprint, a cosmic signature, written in frequency and vibration, not in linear words or logical concepts. And in this phase, that blueprint begins to rise gently and inexorably, like a long-forgotten memory, surfacing from the deepest parts of your being. It is gentle in its unfolding, undeniable in its presence, and strangely, profoundly familiar, as if you've known it all along. It is the echo of your truest self. Then there is the stillness that tests you. This is often where many panic, where the ego, accustomed to constant activity and external validation, feels deeply uncomfortable. It's because the outer world, with its inertia and its own timelines, doesn't immediately catch up to the seismic internal shifts you've experienced. It can feel, for long stretches, like absolutely nothing is happening on the surface. But this stillness is not stagnation. It is not stalling or a sign of being stuck. On the contrary, this profound stillness is anchoring. Think of a mighty river, flowing with fierce purpose, suddenly widening into a calm, deep pool before it finds its next passage through the rugged mountains. In that pool, the waters deepen, settle, and gather immense power. In the same way, your energy is stabilizing what it has already received, integrating the new frequencies, allowing your entire system to adjust. Your human vessel is learning how to hold more light, more truth, more of your vast soul essence, without burning out, without overwhelming your physical or mental capacities. It is a necessary period of energetic consolidation. Then you begin to feel the current. This is when the subtle inner shifts start to manifest in tangible ways, creating ripples in your external reality. You might notice that people respond to you differently, sensing a new authenticity or quiet power within you. Certain places, once comforting or neutral, suddenly feel heavier than they used to, their energetic frequencies no longer aligning with your own elevated state. Certain conversations, once engaging or tolerable, suddenly sound hollow, superficial, or simply irrelevant to your evolving consciousness. You might find yourself less willing to explain yourself, less inclined to justify your choices, less eager to prove your worth to others. This isn't because you're closing your heart or becoming arrogant. It's because you no longer need external permission to be what you inherently are. When one powerful current changes direction in the vast ocean, everything downstream is inevitably affected. You don't have to loudly announce your transformation to the world. You are already transmitting it, silently but powerfully, through your very presence, through your energetic field. Then comes the release. This is the part that can feel profoundly tender, even bittersweet, because it asks you to set down what you've carried for so long that it has become interwoven with your very sense of identity. These are the expectations placed upon you by others, by society, and by your own conditioned mind. These are the old roles you've played out of obligation or habit: the pleaser, the fixer, the victim, the martyr. This is the emotional weight that was never truly yours, but which you absorbed and carried because you were sensitive enough to feel it, to empathize with it, to believe perhaps that it was your responsibility to bear. You have explicit divine permission to let it all sink away, to release it back into the cosmic waters from whence it came. The river, in its relentless flow, doesn't carry every single stone it passes. It discerns what is essential to its journey and what is not. It lets what is not essential settle to the bottom, returning to the earth, and it keeps moving forward, lighter and freer. Then you meet timing in a new way. You naturally stop measuring your growth, your progress, your spiritual evolution by the world's rigid calendars, by societal milestones, or by arbitrary deadlines. You stop punishing yourself with self-criticism and guilt for not arriving sooner, for not achieving specific outcomes by a certain age or stage of life. Instead, you begin to see, with profound clarity and gratitude, that the detours, those winding paths you thought were mistakes, were actually essential shaping forces. You realize that the pauses, those periods of perceived stagnation or inactivity, were not wasted time, but were divinely orchestrated moments that protected you, allowing for crucial integration and energetic consolidation. The years of not understanding, of feeling confused or lost, were not wasted years. Those years were precisely the ocean smoothing you, polishing you, refining your essence, forming a magnificent luminous pearl where you thought there was only grit and pressure. The tide, in its wisdom, doesn't rush its arrival, doesn't fret about its pace, but it always arrives, precisely when it is meant to. And finally, you step into the current with presence, not with a flawless, meticulously crafted plan that maps out every contingency, not with a perfect, fully formed identity that satisfies every external expectation. No, you step in simply with presence, with full embodied awareness of who you are, right here, right now. Your divine mission was never about performing spirituality for an audience, never about proving yourself through endless productivity, never about achieving an external status. Your mission, your true purpose, begins the moment you stop abandoning your own inherent knowing, your sacred inner compass. It begins when you commit to living in a way that authentically matches your unique frequency, quietly, consistently, powerfully, and without apology or compromise. This is not about striving for perfection, but about embodying your truth with unwavering authenticity. This is how worlds truly change, how civilizations evolve, how consciousness expands. Not through aggressive force, not through imposing will, not through external control or loud declarations. Worlds change through resonance, through the silent, powerful vibration of awakened individuals aligning with their deepest truth, creating a ripple effect that touches everything. And here is what you may need to hear most, especially if your life, to the external eye, or even to your internal critic, still feels unfinished, still in a state of becoming. You are not behind. You are not late to anything. You are not missing your moment or falling short of some imagined schedule. The profound shift you're feeling, that quiet calm, that newfound clarity, that subtle but unyielding resolve, this is the signal. This is the unmistakable sign that something ancient and wise within you has finally stopped pleading for external validation, for approval, for permission, and has instead started trusting the vast, deep, infinite wisdom of your own inner ocean. It might not look like much to someone watching from the outside. To those who are still caught in the illusion of linear time and material achievements, they may see no grand transformation, no sudden leap to fame or fortune. But from where your soul is standing, from the perspective of eternity and your divine blueprint, this shift, this quiet turning, is absolutely enormous, a change of cosmic proportions. Because alignment, this deep inner harmony with your true self, is infinitely more powerful and impactful than any amount of striving, pushing, or forcing could ever be. Striving is effort against resistance. Alignment is flow with grace. Alignment is when you finally stop trying to become someone you think you should be, someone you've been told to be, someone you've convinced yourself you must be. Instead, you surrender. You allow yourself to simply be who you already are, in all your magnificent, authentic, divinely encoded truth. And this precisely is why this experience feels both profoundly peaceful and intensely powerful. Peaceful, because you are quite literally coming home to yourself, returning to the sanctuary of your own being, shedding the burdens of illusion and external expectation. It is the peace that comes from finally dropping the mask and resting in your inherent wholeness. Intense. Because the old life, the old paradigms, the old structures, the old relationships, the old ways of thinking and behaving cannot by their very nature be built on this newly discovered sacred foundation anymore. The ground has shifted beneath your feet, and what once stood can no longer hold. This intensity is the birthing pain of a new reality, the dismantling of what no longer serves the truth of who you are. If you feel waves of grief washing over you, allow it to be there. Do not resist it, do not judge it, do not try to intellectualize it away. Grief is often not a sign of loss, but the sacred sound of an old self, an old story, an old identity being honored, released, and lovingly dissolved, making space for the new. If you feel fear, that ancient visceral sensation, let it breathe. Let it move through you without gripping onto it. Fear in this context is often just the wise body asking for gentleness, for compassion, for mindful awareness while your energetic frequency rises, while your system adjusts to holding more light. If you feel strangely emotional, if tears well up for no clear logical reason, or if you feel a stirring of deep sentimentality, understand that this is the water clearing deeper layers of stored energy, old traumas, and stagnant emotions you no longer need to carry, making space for greater clarity and flow. Nothing is wrong with you, beloved soul. On the contrary, something is profoundly divinely right. You didn't come here to perfectly fit into the often constricting molds of this world, to conform to its limitations or diminish yourself for its comfort. You came here, with ancient wisdom and starlight in your veins, to bring your true tone into it, the unique, resonant frequency that was encoded within your very essence long before the magnificent temples of Egypt rose from the golden sands, long before human history began to be recorded. This is the tone that has waited patiently, lovingly beneath all your human stories, all your experiences, all your perceived flaws and triumphs, and the profound fact that you can feel this shift now without needing to force it, without desperately chasing after it, without frantically trying to prove its existence to anyone, including yourself. That, my dear one, tells you everything you need to know. You are ready. Not because your life is suddenly perfect, not because all your problems have vanished, but because you are becoming honest with yourself, authentic in your being, and aligned with your deepest truth. This is the truest form of readiness. Tonight, if it resonates with your heart, if it feels right in your deepest knowing, place your hand gently over your heart space. Feel the rhythm of your own vital essence beating within you. And then say quietly, with profound intention and an open heart, I remember who I am. I trust the waters that carried me here. I am ready to flow into what comes next. And then, resist the urge to rush. Resist the need to immediately figure out the entire intricate map of your future. You don't need to know every twist and turn. Just take the next true step, the one that feels most aligned, most resonant, most authentic to you in this very moment. The vast, wise ocean does not demand that you map every single wave, every current, every shifting tide, before you dare to immerse yourself in its depths. It only asks that you stop denying the undeniable truth, that you are water yourself, flowing, changing, powerful, and an intrinsic part of its magnificent eternal rhythm. Before you go, leave one word in the comments, just one, that describes what you felt during this message. Then find someone else's word and respond with encouragement. This isn't just a comment section, it's a space where star seeds recognize each other, and that recognition carries more power than you know. If something in this message touched you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you'd like to keep receiving these transmissions, subscribe. The waters of Sirius will carry us to the next one. You're not just watching, you're remembering. This is your space. And I'm grateful you were here.